CBs. Welcome back, guys. So it's been about 3 years since I bought this 21-gallon McGraw 175 PSI air compressor, so it's time for a long-term review. Let's get into it. Now again, this thing packs 175 PSI into a pretty decently sized 21-gallon tank, making it ideal for a home shop compressor. Now this is an oilless pump, making it basically maintenance-free. And the air filter is really easy to access too. You just pop this cover off, and there it is. You can just slide it out, wash it, and put it back in. Now this will run just about any air tool that you're going to use in a home garage, from a pocket blowgun to the mighty air scraper. But it's time to move this guy along to the next person, so I figure I'd go over 3 things I like and 3 things I don't really like about this. One thing I really like is its portability. It's on 2 wheels here, so all you have to do is unplug it. You can move it wherever you want it to go. So if you have to do some work across the yard, you can just wheel it right out, baby. Now another thing I like is this thing's ability to run air-hungry tools, like a cutoff tool, air saw, air drill, a die grinder. And the last thing that I really like about this machine, it's been rock solid reliable. It's never leaked air. It's always started, even in cold weather. It gets pretty cold up here in Maine. This thing has been a champ in all conditions, and it's never given me any issues. All right, the first thing I don't really like about this, the fill times. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a 21-gallon tank that packs 175 PSI. It's only got a 1.5 horsepower motor. Whereas this Fortress you may have seen my review on has about a 1 horsepower motor and only a 6-gallon tank. That's 3.5 times smaller than the McGraw. So ideally, this thing should have about a 4 or 5 horsepower motor to really make it a great performing shop compressor. And your fill times suffer because of that. This thing takes over 7 minutes to fill up from 0 to 175. That's a long time to wait for air pressure. And honestly, I've been using this guy a lot more. This only takes about 30-40 seconds to get to 60 PSI, whereas this one takes 2 whole minutes to get to that mark. It's a little too long to wait. Now, the next thing I don't really like is the recovery time, or the cut in to the cut out pressure. What that means is when the motor kicks back on to build pressure in the tank, it takes way too long to build up to max PSI, so the motor is always running. So if you plan on using air tools while you're letting this build pressure, prepare to listen to this thing all day, because I feel like, again, it's always running. And the last thing I'm not crazy about are just little things, but to me they make a difference. As you can see, there's only 1 quick connect, but there are 3 ports right here. You'd think that for a $260 machine, they'd throw in at least 2 quick connects. Come on. And there's also the drain valve. Now this is an aftermarket ball valve that I put on here. Before, they just had one of those little brass wing nut drain valves that always break and they always get stuck. But now with this aftermarket one, drains great. And a side note for you, always drain your tank after use. This moisture right here is only after filling it up 1 time. So you can imagine how much water can collect in these things. Drain your tanks. All right, so here's my take. If you can score one of these guys on the used market for around 150 bucks, I say buy it. It's totally worth that number. It's a capable machine that can run a lot of tools if you have the patience to wait for pressure to build. So drop any questions in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer them. Now, I do have a handful of videos featuring this compressor. I will link them at the end of the video. Oh wait, it is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. CBs!